Naval Warfare has finally arrived. 8 months after release, Season 4 in Battlefield 6 now offers all-out war in the Pacific with Tsuru Reef and Wake Island coming later in the season. Long have the fans been waiting, and now it's finally here. Featuring new content like weapons, vehicles, and of course, fitting to the theme, new cosmetics. Although it just seems like a basic season same as the previous ones, Season 4 seems to be the turning tide for Battlefield 6. With more positive feedback and growing player numbers, it looks like BF6 is about to make a comeback. But why is that? Well, I mean, it's what the community's been asking for even before release. But we already know that. So what I'm going to show you is why Naval Warfare is being frequently asked and why it always guarantees positive feedback, giving every battlefield a moment of success no matter the setting or timeline. There's more than just boat battles behind the huge demand. Now, the most obvious reason for people being hyped about naval combat is the completion of all-out warfare, and I really mean all out. On maps featuring naval combat, you got land, air, and sea fights, so an additional war ground with its own assets added to the regular ground battles on land, forcing players to deal with different engagements from the water, whether it's small boats that players use to flank enemy positions through tight passages, or defend an area from a safe distance with a patrol boat, which is safe to the typical equipment that you're scared of when sitting in a tank, like recon sneaking up with C4, engineers with EOD bots, or Jeep stuff. Wait, hold on a second. Go on. Let's go! Second reason would be more important to the veterans, and that is nostalgia. Wake Island, a naval warfare map, was one of the first playable maps in the first Battlefield game, Battlefield 1942, featuring tanks, planes, boats, ships, and even U-boats, quickly becoming a fan favorite, which led to multiple remasters in the future. But with modern Battlefield, following a trend of releasing less and less content with every game and update, the demand from the community rises due to the huge variety you had in early titles. So for the OGs, Naval Warfare will always remain as a must-have and part of the core Battlefield experience, being as important as aircraft and heavy armor. Most importantly though, naval combat puts more focus on your typical Battlefield experience than any other theater. While urban maps and cities support infantry gameplay with a faster experience, and wide open maps on fields put heavy focus on land and air vehicles, naval maps on the other hand are the ones combining and balancing every experience of Battlefield. You got infantry fighting for territory on land and islands with tank support, aircraft securing the airspace and supporting the ground troops, and ships patrolling passages and flanking routes in the water. That way, the key for victory depends more on tactics and strategy with all the different assets and vehicles, rather than movement and reaction time. So vehicles become at least as important as enemy infantry. And to be fair, Battlefield 6 desperately needs this. But the best and overlooked aspect by the majority about naval combat in general by far is the map design. We all know by now the issues of Battlefield 6's maps. They're way too small and unpredictable, leaving players frustrated and burnt out. So, a decent solution is to release some bigger maps, like Dolmont Railway. They provide enough space to move and play great as long as they feature more than 3 main routes to engage the enemy evenly. However, naval maps have a significant advantage compared to any other land-based map. Due to the water area, naval maps feature lots of space for ground troops as well as aircraft, so they'll always be big enough. With all the different objectives scattered over land and smaller islands, we get a separate ground on the water. With that, infantry movement is being limited, allowing for better readability. So basically, due to the disadvantage of slower movement and not being able to use the primary guns while swimming, players automatically avoid the water if they don't have a boat around and pass through bridges and main roads on the land. Otherwise, they become an easy slow target in the open. So the water is like a technically usable area which simultaneously acts as a barrier and artificial dead zone. And therefore, most naval maps of any battlefield, whether it's a Paracel Storm, Wake Island, Pacific Storm, Solomon Islands or Seebrücke, they're all considered to be one of the best in the entire franchise. And not just because of featuring boats and ships, but because of the unique map design. And with that, Suru Reef is easily, alongside Wake Island, the best maps in the entire game and will remain on top of the tier list for a long time. They are big, feature multiple paths to engage the enemy, and kinda give you proper ground and a defensive area to capture and hold certain objectives. Not all, many objectives are still dog shit on Suru Reef, but they're still better than any other original of Battlefield 6. So, you see, Naval Warfare isn't just boats. It's a guarantee for some of the best maps possible, the best mix of different playstyles that you can have, and presents the maximum potential of Battlefield's sandbox and everything it has to offer. Now, what do you think? What is your favorite naval map of all time? Let me know down in the comments. With that being said, ladies and gentlemen, if you enjoyed the video, please leave a like and subscribe. I thank you very much for watching, I hope you enjoyed the ride, and I see you guys in the next video.